The next group will be ImpactED.
Business when less than 10% of America does something like that is absolutely insane. But if you have a dream, if you have a vision, the only way you can achieve your dreams or your vision is to go against the grain, go upstream sometimes. You have to fight for what you want.
Good afternoon. My name is Valerie Peralta, and I'm here with ImpactED. We're an educational technology company focused on elementary science. To begin, I'd like to show you a short video.
Today, the new international reading, math, and science scores were released, and Chinese students left American teens in the dust.
And Diane, these numbers are stunning for the entire world. The Shanghai stunner, you could call it. In fact, our own education secretary called the results, the word that Diane used, a wake-up call. In science, again, Shanghai, China at the top, then Finland, Hong Kong, Singapore, Japan, and down in 20th, the US.
50 years later, our generation's Sputnik moment is back.
This video is from 2010. Since then, U.S. students' ranking in science has dropped to 28th. That's nowhere near the top. Yet, a Stanford study has shown that if U.S. students could increase their scores by just 25 points on international tests, that could translate into $41 trillion into the U.S. GDP over the next 20 years. 41 trillion, that's a lot of money. So, if you're thinking there are big business opportunities in education, you're right. And ImpactED is one of those opportunities. ImpactED, in partnership with the University of Miami, brings to market PSEL 1, Promoting Science Among English Language Learners. PSEL 1 was developed by a group of scientists and educators from the University of Miami, led by Dr. Oki Lee, who is a member of the Next Generation Science Standards Writing Team. Dr. Lee and her colleagues researched the curriculum over 5 years, and they found 5 factors that would really make an innovative and successful curriculum. The first being that it's for 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. It's getting students interested and inspired by science in the formative years, instead of waiting until middle school and high school like most curriculums do. Next, it's hands-on. Let me ask you this, how do you learn best? By reading one of these, or experimenting with something like this? Maybe not. Okay. The next thing is it uses math as a tool to learn science, and writing is required to communicate science. This then affects the scores not only in science but also in math and writing. We'll look at those in a few minutes. Another very important factor that Dr. Lee and her colleagues found important was in raising test scores, we need to focus on the students who need the most help. So this program, instead of being kind of trickling down with its approach, blossoms up. Because when you focus your instruction on the student who needs it the most, everyone benefits. And that's what they have found. And finally, PSEL 1 doesn't just help students, it helps teachers as well. Our professional development and online learning management system, which you see here, helps the elementary teacher who does not have a requirement for a science certification learn the concepts quickly and be confident with them so that they can teach them well. As you can see from the charts here, those students who received PSEL 1 instruction improved their scores not only in science but in writing and math as well. The PSEL 1 student scores are indicated by the black lines, And they outperformed the comparison group, which is in red, and also all other Miami-Dade schools and across the state as well, which are in green and blue. And we expect more improvement over with continued exposure to PCEL 1. And now for the business side. PCEL 1 and ImpactED is based, our revenue business model is based on the price per student. It's $71 per student currently, which is 30 to 40% less than the competition. We will also earn revenue based on we'll also earn revenue from the professional development, and at $693 per teacher, that's also competitively priced. We offer more features and benefits than the competition. Finally, our buyers will be at the state and districts, both the public and private sectors, as well as homeschoolers. The K-5 market is a $310 billion marketplace. We will focus on 3 key areas: instructional materials, professional development, and e-learning. These 3 segments have a healthy growth rate of ranging from 4 to 20%. Also, this space represents 25 million students and 1.2 million teachers. Okay, and more now, our revenue stream will come over the next 5 years. We will increase each year. The first year, 2015, being in Florida and Texas. Also, we will earn revenue from our professional development. In 2016, we will enter the top 10 markets, which are those states that have the highest English language learners and students in need of educational intervention. In 2017, we will expand in the U.S., and we will also enter into 3 key countries in Latin America. In 2018, we will introduce a kindergarten through second grade program, and in 2019, we will continue to penetrate the markets that we previously entered. To meet these goals, we need $500,000 between now and the end of 2014 to open our doors in 2015. Over the next 3 years from that, we project that we will need $22 million to meet our goals. So, now what's in it for you? We've determined, based on the Burgess method, that our pre-revenue valuation is $2 million. And so a $100,000 investment is equal to 5% of ownership. And we expect to distribute dividends by the end of year 3 based on earnings. So your $100,000 investment will be more than $520,000. And this is our team. We've been led by Mr. Ronald Curtis, who is a seasoned executive in the K-12 space. Also on our board of advisors are Dr. Oki Lee, lead developer, and Dr. Walter Cicada from the University of Miami. So I invite you to, in closing, I invite you to take advantage of the ImpactED opportunity and inspire the next generation of science and technology leaders.
Thank you. Great job. I really like your props too. So that was exciting. I didn't know if you could reach the upper deck here.
I'm going to try, but just in case, I decided to take it easy.
Just a quick question. How are you going to distribute your study guides? Are you thinking that it would be paper-based and or PDFs, or are you going to be leveraging technology and building an app per se? I know in a couple different districts in the state of Florida, they are going to no textbooks in a couple of years, and they've got BYOD programs for the kids in K through 12.
That's a great question. Ours is a blended solution. We do have the instructional manuals. It's being hands-on is one of the key elements. So we couldn't do it without that portion, but we do, as you see, we will have the online learning management system that will have gaming, blog sites, videos, and more as we progress.
Tell me a little bit how you plan to sell your solution to the end user, whether they're institutional or private.
I'm going to ask our CFO to join me in answering that question.
Could you repeat the question again, because I didn't hear the last part, please?
Tell me how you're going to sell your solution to either to the end consumer, whether it is a institution or whether it is a consumer or a private individual.
Okay, mainly this is for institutions. The strategy here is go first to districts and then to principals and schools. The strategy for the last 3 years include other regions, as I've already mentioned, like Latin America. But in the first 2 years, it's very one by one, going to districts and schools. That's specifically the strategy for the first 2 years.
I have two questions about your competition. It looks like you have some real entrenched competition with McGraw-Hill, some of these other companies. Are they doing anything similar? And I don't see the real uniqueness.
They are different. They do not have the niche market that we do. We're focusing on the ELL population. They do have supplemental supplies, if you will, but that's not their main focus. Also, in those areas, they focus on, as I said, the higher grades, where we are starting out with 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, and then also introducing a new product of kindergarten and 2nd grade. So they're the powerhouses. However, they are the big spectrum, where we're focusing more on something which is still at its $30 billion market. It has a lot of potential. And we're in the lead, and right now, we're in the leader of that.
Those are two big 800-pound gorillas there in Pearson and McGraw-Hill. They have deep pockets, and they're fairly well entrenched in the institutional sector and school districts and otherwise. How will you approach them, the districts, and how will you explain your differentiator accordingly?
Okay, that's a great question. Thank you. First of all, with our pilot program, we do have schools already in Miami-Dade County and also throughout who've already used the program. And then we have schools throughout the state that have interest in it. So it has recognition already through the pilot program.
I had a question just around did you mention a 30% cost savings relative to, or price difference relative to your competitors?
Yes.
So what drives that cost difference between some of your larger competitors? I guess, what are you doing on the production side that drives that reduction?
Okay, basically we are focusing on innovation, producing as order come in. That's one thing. We are targeting considering that the situation right now. Some companies are under capacity producing printed and digital content, and we are mainly going to those providers. That's one thing. And the first thing is what I mentioned before.
Let's hear it for ImpactED.